Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I was out and about today, and I thought I'll discuss a very important topic, which is an integral part of self-healing that we do every day. And I wanted to share some beautiful experiences that some of my clients had, and I personally worked on as well in dream time, as well as in healing sessions that really helped to catapult the healing journey for the client, as well as someone that I knew personally that I was working on. My name is Angelic Meenakshi, and I am a spiritual alchemist, an energy healer, as well as a spiritual mentor. You can find out more about me on my website, www.angelicalchemyholistichealing.com, and I'm on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram by the same names. So I wanted to talk a little bit about soul fragment retrievals, which is a very important part of energy healings that we do. And this is something that I've been working on for a very long time, but quite recently, I saw it more in detail than I've ever seen in any of my sessions or dream time. So I happened to come across this in dream time for someone that I knew personally that I was working on for healing. And this person is not in a state to have too many memories at this point. They're going through certain medical conditions because of that. So I was working on their healing, and in my dream time, I saw myself in a house, which I didn't recognize because I didn't know the person at that time. And in the house, the person was, I found the person in a certain room in the house, and there were a lot of belongings there, like physical materialistic goods that this person was standing with. And so when I saw this person there, and I said, I asked this person, what are you doing here and why are you standing here all by yourself? And she said that that was her parents' house, and she was attached to all those goods, all the materialistic goods that were there because they once belonged to her parents, who are no longer in this world, in the physical. And so I realized in dream time what was happening, and I basically helped her along with the guides to move on to source, to connect with source and with her soul in a wholeness, because she was basically a fragmented soul that was left behind in that timeline when her parents were alive, and she was very attached to the parents, and now the belongings were sort of like an attachment for her because they held memories of her parents. And so we helped this soul come back into her wholeness. Um, Similarly, I saw many other clients, and I've myself experienced finding pieces of myself, from other lifetimes that have been stuck, and I've came across them in dream time again, even though I didn't really go searching for them, but it was time to find different aspects that were still out and about. So one thing about soul fragments that I realized is that they look like they're kind of like entities, and the time and space that they're stuck in, they kind of, I won't say dark, but they're not as lit and they don't have as much light as we have here in this world. So it almost looks like it's a different realm, but of that same time that they were stuck in. So it would be the same room, but it would be like more like a shadowy room. And, the person that is there is more like an entity now because they don't belong to a body anymore. They don't have a physical body anymore. So they are literally standing or living in darkness, where they're not aware of what's happening in their surroundings. They don't have that much soul capacity at that point to think what they're doing there. Why are they all alone? Like, this soul didn't understand, what happened to her parents or where the rest of the family members were, and why she's just standing there all alone, in that time and space. She didn't understand that because she, at that point, was an entity. So she needed to go back to light. Similarly, I've had many, many experiences in dream time as well as in sessions where we've seen people stuck in different timelines because of various reasons. It could be the soul could basically get fractured or fragmented into pieces because of traumas, because of too much attachment to people around, environment, circumstances, or also because of unforgiveness, anger, resentment. where some souls might want to continue to be stuck in a timeline because they've not forgiven someone. So a piece of them is left behind in that timeline, still hanging on to, whatever's left of that incident that occurred, and they're waiting for justice to happen. So whenever we do our self-healing, as well as when, as healers, we're helping others heal as well, this is an important aspect to make sure that you find all soul fragments that could have been fractured, fragmented from that soul, left behind anywhere in different timelines. Find them, retrieve them, take them back to source so that source can continue to heal them. And it's highly recommended that we only bring them back into the person's wholeness if they're meant to be in that lifetime, be one with them. So sometimes the soul fragments are so fractured and so hurt and traumatized that even source says that for some time they would just continue to heal. With source or wherever their actual spiritual home is, and that that particular fragment may not be needed by that soul in that moment of time, and it would in fact be, it would jeopardize their further journey, and in that case they would still continue to hang on to that soul piece. But in most cases, once the healing of the soul is done, that soul fragment is brought back to the client, to that person, to that soul, and is integrated through their DNA once again to come into wholeness. And then the journey of healing continues, because even then, once the soul fragment comes back, there is going to be more healing, because even though the soul fragment will be majorly healed through the process of coming back from the timeline, it would still hold memories of what had happened, characteristics, traits, situations, karmic bonds, and whatever was going on in that timeline. They would bring that memory with them. So very often the person that's integrated the soul fragment back will, especially if they're aware, will be able to feel that soul fragment's pain or questions, trauma, their feelings and emotions come up, especially around full moon, new moon. They will come up for healing, and even if they're healing themselves, they'll wonder, oh, well, I've done all this healing, where's this feeling coming from? Why am I thinking about this right now? It's because the soul fragment, it still needs more healing, and more, I would say, confirmation and reassurance that it's safe to be back home, and it's in a good situation now. So it's extremely important to watch out for this, for your personal sessions, as well as the sessions that you do for your clients. This is for the healers and the light workers that are also helping others heal. Sometimes there are not just single, but like many members of the family that could be stranded in a timeline or a situation which was very traumatizing for them. So the entire cluster of that family members would be there. So you'd also be able to bring back all of them and send them back to source for healing, and also heal the situation, contract, whatever was connected with them. So again, going back to, it all comes down to how attached we are to situations, people, karmic bonds, circumstances that we've been through, how attached we are to all of them. The more attached we are, the more clingy we get, the more chances there are of the souls getting fragmented like that. And when I say that, I don't mean to by any way try to say that souls are weak, and they're damaged in some way. Yes, they do get damaged when they get traumatized. Souls are very powerful, they're very strong, and at the end of the day, no matter what happens, all of the soul fragments that are ready to come back will come back into their wholeness. And that's what this entire ascension journey is about, where we bring back all pieces of ourselves from being fragmented in different timelines into our wholeness. And then we also come into wholeness with our main soul, which is our oversoul, because we are also a fragment of their soul. Once we come into that direct wholeness with them, we've arrived, we're home, because that is home. Being with your higher self, being with the oversoul, acknowledging that, embracing that, being that energy every single day, you're home. So I just wanted to share this experience, and I hope that really helps you, because I found quite a few of my clients, personal, as well as so many people that I know that I've helped heal in dream time. So they've been a very, very detailed dreams where I've actually seen what is going on with those souls. They're stuck. It's just dark. They're just moving from one room to the other in the house. Sometimes they're stuck in just one room where it actually happened, or it could be an accident site for someone who died of an accident. And so they're just stuck there. They don't know that they don't even know that there's something wrong with them. They just think that that's where they need to be. And over time, because of lack of light, they forget everything, but they're just stuck. So that's where this journey comes in, and it really helps in helping them remember who they are, helping them remember and connect with God, source energy, and with the soul that has moved on and has finally arrived into this timeline where it has the ability to, call them back and say, hey, come on, we're one. So I hope this helps you on your journey, and do continue healing, and lots of love. Lots of love to all of you. I'm going to flip the camera around so you can see the beautiful sunset. There you go. Just enjoying this beautiful day at a beach. And we have this beautiful forest behind. There we go. All right. Thank you everyone for watching. Lots of love to each one of you. Blessings. Bye-bye.